Hello everyone, this is Vikas Johal. Today we will learn SQL. SQL is SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Structured Query Language. See guys, this is one of the very important skill and it's highly demanding in the market, whether you are working in the field of data or as a data scientist. So it is highly demand in market, right? SQL is the oldest database actually. SQL, it have a database, that is SQL Server. It connects us to the database and it is the oldest database. We write SQL code to talk with this database. Whether we want to store data in this database, whether we want to bring data from this database, or we want to update the data, right? Right. Before diving deeper into the SQL commands and SQL language, let's understand few concepts, few terms regarding to SQL, right? And those terms are very important. That is actually the backbone of SQL. Like what is DB, what is database management system, DBMS, what are data models, right? What is RDBMS? Then we go to SQL, that is structured query language. So let's begin, guys. See, SQL is one of the very important database, as we know. It's very famous and it's the oldest database where we can store data. The first thing SQL is meant for, the first thing we need to keep in mind is SQL is meant for either storing the data in the database. There is some database, like it's a bucket. It's a bucket of data. This bucket is actually storing the data. This bucket of data is called database, DB. Some people call it DB. DB means database, right? We can store the data in this bucket. We can bring data, or we can say we can retrieve data from this database, or we can also update the data. By update means you can either make some changes, delete something, add something. This is updating the existing data or existing file, right? For example, if I take example that I am running some business, some sales business. Okay, like I have Amazon. I have details of there's a one who buy one person P1 who buy something from Amazon, right? The person who is buying something from Amazon, he is giving his detail like name, email ID, passwords, address, phone number. This data is getting stored in some bucket, right? This data of any person who is buying something from some online sites like Amazon, and he's putting his detail to this bucket. This is storing the data, right? Second is retrieving the data. Who is going to use this data? The one, see, I have ordered a pair of shoes. I have given my details, my phone number, my address, my phone number, my email, everything. So I store this data. This is getting stored in some bucket, in some database. Alright? The delivery team is going to retrieve this data and give my detail to the delivery boys. Like my name, my phone number, my address, not all the information which is required for delivery boy, they will pass that information. So these are the person who is retrieving data from the database. And the third thing is update. We can also update data. For example, I wrongly put my wrong address. I wrongly put the address, some different address, or my phone number is wrong. So I can also update my phone number, right? I can also update my phone number. So you have seen that there is a person P1 who ordered something and give his details. That details gets stored in some bucket, right? So this is storing the data in some database, right? In some database. There's a team, delivery team, who are retrieving or getting this information from the database and give it to delivery buyers to deliver my product, okay, at my address. Like I have given my name, phone number, my address, and many more things, right? Everything is stored in a database, and there's some people who are using this database to deliver the product. And we can also update if we want to update, like I want to update my phone number, update my phone number. So this is what we are going to do in SQL. We write a SQL code either to store data in a database, SQL database, or to retrieve data. First things, either we will store data or we will retrieve data or will update the data, right? This is what we have to do in SQL. So there are many commands which we run on SQL to work on data, right? Or you can create your own database. You will create your own bucket in SQL, okay, and store some information. You have some information. You can store this information. You have some information. You can store this information in some database, right? Some information like you're working employees details, employees data. You can store this data in some database like SQL database, right? Later we can also use this information, like at the time of giving salaries, we can check the employees details, everything, and give the salaries, or we can also update employees, right? This is what we do in SQL. We write SQL commands to store data here, or to retrieve data, or to update data, right? Understood why we need SQL? It's a database language. We have to work on data with the help of this language. So let's understand few terms regarding SQL, like what is DB, second, what is DBMS, third, what are data models, right? Fourth, what is RDBMS, very important. Fifth, the last, we'll discuss what is SQL language, right? Before going to SQL language, we'll discuss few terms, because these are the backbones of SQL actually. If you understand this concept, then SQL becomes very easy. First is, the first term is database. Database is also known as, short form is also known as, DB is called database, right? Database, it is basically a bucket. It's basically a bucket. It's basically a bucket where we will store our data, right? We will store our data. We store our files, whatever data we have, we'll store in this bucket. This bucket is called DB, right? So database is the place where we are going to store data, or from where we can bring data also, right? This is database. Second is DBMS. It stands for database management system. Okay. See, SQL is basically store data or retrieve data in a structured manner. That is what is called structured query language. It will do everything. Whatever we do on data, we store it, we retrieve it, we update it. Everything data is always in a structured form, right? Only because of this DBMS. So it is a software. It is a software which store data, retrieve data, or update data in an organized manner. See, when we talk to some database, when I have to talk to some database, we need some software where I write my demands, my requirements, and that software convert my requirements to the database, right? So it is a software which stores, retrieve, or update the data, where in database in an organized manner, right? In an organized manner. It is not a random data you're throwing in a bucket in that database. It is not like that. Whatever you store, whatever you print, it always comes in a structured, organized manner. So this is a software which do everything in a database in a structured manner. So this is called DBMS, right? Either you store the data in the form of table, you store the data in the form of some network, right? This software will help you. For example, like I know SQL code. This database understand only SQL language. Don't understand our English language, our language, whatever language English, whatever language we have. It understand only SQL language. I have to write a SQL code somewhere. Where I am going to write? I will write it on this software. This software is called DBMS. We'll write our SQL code in this DBMS software. This DBMS software tell our whatever we want to the database. Like we store, it will store. We want to retrieve, it will bring. Right? So it will do everything in a organized manner. Not like sometimes it becomes some column, sometimes it becomes some other file. No, it always do the things in an organized manner. Right? So this is a software which store, retrieve or update data in a database in an organized manner. Right, guys? Third is data models. Okay? Data models. There are 4 data models. First is hierarchy. Second is network model. Third is entity relationship. Model. And fourth is relational model. I will explain to you all the models. You will tell me which is the best model to store data or to bring data. Last is relational model. Let's understand each one by one. First is hierarchy model. First one is hierarchy model. Hierarchical model. See, in this model, the models are the different ways of storing. Models is basically called, you build some model first, like I want to store data in this form. Data comes, first go this, then go this, like in form of branches. Or you store in the form of table, whatever it is, right? First you have to build some model to store data in a for a database, right? So first is hierarchy model. What hierarchy model says? Hierarchy model says we will store data in the form of hierarchies. Let's understand this with an example. We build a model like there is a main heading as a vehicle. Okay, the main heading as a vehicle. Under this vehicle, we made different branches. Four-wheeler, two-wheeler, two-wheeler, or six-wheeler, whatever wheeler we have. In four-wheeler, we have electric, petrol, diesel, right? And in two-wheeler, we have electric and petrol. Okay, we build this model that when data will come, it will stored in this model and according to this model. For example, let's take some car came, Hyundai i20. Okay, Hyundai i20. I know this is four-wheeler car. This is a four-wheeler. Okay, I know this data will go inside this branch. It's a four-wheeler, right? Second, it's a diesel version. If it is a diesel version, it will go inside here. i20 will go here. Next car came. Let it be Maruti Baleno. It's a four-wheeler. It's a four-wheeler. Second, it's a petrol version. So it will go inside. Automatically, you designed some model, right? It's a hierarchy model. You have designed the model, and when data will come, the data will go. It will find its position, and will go in that column, right? For example, if Royal Enfield Bullet will come, it's a two-wheeler. We know the feature. It's two-wheeler, and it's a petrol version. Obviously, it will go here. Royal Enfield Bullet, right? If Ola vehicle came, Ola scooty came. It's electric scooty. It will go here, right? So we have designed some model. Then when new data come, it automatically goes inside this in the respective branch. Or if this is storing, if I want to retrieve data, I will pass the feature. I need a car which is diesel version. For example, this is storing data. In case I want to retrieve, I will give some features. I need four-wheeler, data four-wheeler, all petrol version, right? So all the data which comes inside this will come out. Because I have passed the feature, I need a vehicle with a four-wheeler and petrol version. If I say I need a vehicle, okay, inside vehicle I need a petrol version, right? It will go inside this or inside this. Whatever condition we will give, it will go according to that, right? This is hierarchy model, and it is not that much used in a market. Second is, let's go to second. Second is network model. Here we build a network of data. We have like this data, this data, this data, this, and this may have two parents from this also, this. So we will keep on building network. More data came, the network will keep on increasing. This is very complex model because we cannot convert this model in any other model later. If in future, if you want to convert this model into a hierarchy model or entity model or relationship model, relational model, we cannot convert it. It's a very complex model. Like we have grandfather, there is father, there is mother. This mother have this is grandparent. Like this is father, this is mother. Right? This is children. Okay? These children have two parent files. One is father and one is mother. This is also children too. And this may be some other relation, maybe there it belongs to father only, like sister's daughter or something like that. So this is a very complex model. This is network. We keep on building network. Right? Next model is entity relationship model. In this model, what we have a main entity, and the entity have many attributes. attribute 1, attribute 2, and then I have many attributes like attribute 3, attribute 4, and so on. Right? It can have many attributes. Those attributes have a relation. All attributes have a relation with the main entity. They are in a relationship with each other. This entity have a relationship with its attributes. Okay, let's understand it with example. For example, we have like employee, right? We have employee. We have one table, employee table. When some new employee came, we said we want employee name, employee. First we will give employee ID. Second we give employee name. Second we have employee phone mobile number, right? And we need employee address. Employee address. So we build the model that when we need the information of some employee, the 4 value will come out: employee ID, employee name, employee mobile number, employee address. Right? This is entity model. We have entity employee, and this employee have 4 respective information: employee ID, employee name, employee mobile number, employee address. For example, if I ask for this some employee whose name is Prakash, right? If I say I need detail of Prakash, okay, automatically Prakash ID, Prakash name, Prakash mobile number, and Prakash address will come out. Okay, or if I want to store information of this Prakash, I have to give the 4 information ID, because model is built in such a way that we need these 4 information of the employee. If new employee will come, we need, because we set this model. If some new employee will come, we need 4 information: their ID, name, mobile number, address. Right? This is entity model, and this is very useful. Many people use this. One more example I will give you. Let me one entity is there. Its name is student. There is one student. Okay. Student go to the college. It's a college ID. It's a college student. College ID, college name, college address, college other details. Okay. Next, student go to some department, like he is studying engineering or whatever he is doing, BE, BTech. He goes to computer science department. Computer science department. Okay. If he goes to department, he has some department information also. Department ID maybe he have. Department name. Department course. Department subjects. Right? Different from coming to department. Maybe go further inside, like he have library card, library information. Or labs information. So they have lab ID, lab card. So it's an entity which have many attributes. Further entity, branches of entity with many attributes. Further lab entity, many attributes. So it's a entity and attributes relationship model. Right? This is entity and relationship. The last is relational model. Right? And this is one of the very important model. In this model, the data is stored, retrieve or update. Whatever we do with data, everything happens in the form of table. Whatever you store, it will store in the form of tables with rows and columns. Right? With rows and columns. We have a column name here, column name, column name, column name, these rows. So it's a model. It is a model which stores information in the form of table. Okay, in the form of table. Whatever, for example, we have made one table like ID, name, address, and new entry come. For example, I am running some PG, and I am running some PG. I have some website. At the website, I have some website front page is there. Okay, website front end page is there. Okay, there are three spaces are there to put the name, put the ID, and put the address. Okay, this, for example, I put Vikas ID 8 address Bangalore. Okay, this will go to the backend. This data will store in the SQL, and we have designed the relationship model in this way. Our relational model is like we have 3 columns: ID, name, address, and that will also pass his phone number like 1423829. Okay, phone number. When this data go to the backend, only 3 information will get stored: ID 8, name Vikas, and address is Bangalore. Right? Because we have designed the model in the SQL database already. When information will come, it will store in the form of table, and we have 3 columns in a table. A new entry will come. Next ID like ID 7, name is Rahul, address is Chennai. Right? Name, next ID new entry will come. ID 12, name is Harpreet, address is Punjab. Okay, so we have designed the model, so whatever information will come, it will store in the form of table. Got it? So this is relational model. So what do you think? Which is the best model out of 3? Best model out of 3. Hierarchy is best, network is best, entity best, or relational model is best. According to, I believe this is the best model. This is best model. It stores the data in the form of table, and table is very easy to read. Right? That's why they have also designed MS Excel to put the data, this tabular data in the form of in the Excel. So this is the model which is mostly used. So relationship is the model which is widely used. Right? So it is a relational model. I'm saying relationship again and again. It's a relational model which is widely used out of the 4 model. And you can see also that this is the most easiest one. You can store it in the form of table. Okay, got it? Understood the 4 models of SQL? Okay. Let's go to the next topic, and that is RDBMS. Now we have become with the RDBMS. I told you this SQL language, we write it on software. That software is called DBMS to talk with the database, talk with the bucket, this database. Right? We write SQL code here. We store some data. Okay? If this software use relational models to store the information, if this DBMS use a relational model to store data, to retrieve data, or to update data, that DBMS software is called RDBMS. RDBMS. This DBMS software, it means DBMS software which uses relational model to store, retrieve, or update data in DB is called relational model. It's called RDBMS. RDBMS. Right? It's called RDBMS. So the DBMS is software. The software which uses a relational model to work on data in DBMS is called RDBMS. Right? Understood RDBMS? This is very simple. Okay? RDBMS. So DBMS which use relational model For example, we have SQL. We have, so we reach up to this point. No, DBMS software. After this, we have 4 model. 1, 2, 3, and this is we have data models. If DBMS, we have 4 models: hierarchy, network, entity relationship, class is relational. If this software use this relational model, what if this software use this software use relational model, it becomes RDBMS, to talk with the database, right? It's a DB. So SQL language, we write SQL language, the software, if the software use relational model, software use relational model to store information, to update information, or to retrieve information. For example, if data will come, if it is use RDBMS software, it will store data in the form of table in bucket. These softwares are called RDBMS. Got it? Up to this, then this, then this, and this, then to the database. It will connect through the server. Right? And so the last is, what is SQL now? What is SQL? Now we'll come to what is SQL. So SQL, it is a structured query language which is used to interact with the SQL database. Interact means it can store data in DB, retrieve data from DB, or update data. Right? So there are many commands comes under this to retrieve, to store, or this. So it's a language which is used to interact with the DB, to the database. It can store data in DB, it can retrieve data from DB, it can update data from DB. Okay, got it? So we have SQL language. We'll write it on some software that is called DBMS. If DBMS is using a relational model to store data, it is called RDBMS. This is what we are going to use. RDBMS, we will work on RDBMS only. That, like, we have many RDBMS software like Microsoft SQL, MySQL, Oracle SQL, and there are many more. We'll go with MySQL. It's open source. It's free and open source. The interface is very simple. Okay, RDBMS software talk with the database. We'll write our code here in this software. This software, write our SQL code here in the software to store data, to retrieve data, to update data in the database. Or for example, let's say we have a database, and this database have multiple files: file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, and I will write SQL code. I want this file 3. I want to see what is inside this file 3. So I'll write this SQL code in RDBMS software, and this will pass my information to DBMS. Whatever I want, it will give this pass my command to the DBMS and bring the data I want. I want F3 file out. F3 file out. Okay, so it will bring F3 file out in the form of table. Why in the form of table? Why not in the form of hierarchy or other form? Because I am using RDBMS software. It will bring this file in the form of table, like column ID, name, address, whatever it is, the file contains. It will bring that out. So this is how we will write SQL code to talk with the database. So thank you guys. I hope you understand the basic concepts of SQL. You understand how SQL works and what are the important terms in SQL. See you in next class. We will start writing SQL commands. Thank you.